You know, the way he played, not good at all. 6 of 21 is not going to get it done. Shooting 10 3-pointers is not going to get it done. So you got to make some self-adjustments and some mental adjustments, and you have to say, we cannot lose game 2.
Victor was only trying to affect the game offensively. He did not affect the game defensively.
Because he can't,
today.
Kenny.
And yes, he can.
No, he can't.
He can guard Cat.
He can. He did.
I'm not saying he
Right.
can't.
But
We're not saying he did or didn't.
But I'm still
But he didn't affect the game. He only tried to make his imprint to me on the offense.
because he.
I think he needs to be more aggressive and have better shot selection. I don't want my guys shooting 10 3-pointers.
Yeah, I agree.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals was pure chaos from start to finish. The energy inside the Frostbank Center in San Antonio was off the charts as fans packed the building for a showdown that had everybody talking.
When he got hurt and he went out, Jose, let's go. He came back, Jalen's tough as nails, and it didn't seem like he had any effect afterwards.
On one side was the league's biggest sensation, Victor Wembanyama, making his long-awaited finals debut. On the other side stood a battle-tested New York Knicks team carrying a stunning 12-game playoff winning streak and looking unstoppable.
And we had the momentum until late in that game. We let that one go. It's probably going to be 30 things tomorrow that we're going to address tomorrow.
This game had everything basketball fans could ask for. Big-time momentum swings, hard collisions, clutch buckets, highlight reel plays, and plenty of reactions from NBA players and media figures. There is a lot to break down here, so let's get right into it.
Well, for game 1, I'm going to let you know I think that the Knicks have the advantage. They feeling real good rolling into this. I think that they have a lot of answers for what San Antonio has.
Jalen Brunson is the most mentally tough player in the NBA. And if you give him an opportunity to take a game down the stretch, he's going to take advantage of it.
Thank you so much for watching. I noticed most of you aren't subscribed yet, so if you're enjoying the video, hit subscribe. It really means a lot. The finals officially tip off, and the Knicks strike first as Mikal Bridges pushes the tempo and finds OG Anunoby for an easy transition layup. But San Antonio wastes no time firing back. Victor Wembanyama rejects Josh Hart at the rim, which sparks a fast break, and Stephon Castle sets up Wemby for a three-pointer. The Spurs suddenly catch fire and rip off a 12-0 run, capped by a beautiful cross-court dime from De'Aaron Fox to Dylan Harper for 3. San Antonio keeps the pressure coming. Julian Champagnie knocks down another triple and even draws a foul on the play. Meanwhile, concern starts building for New York as Jalen Brunson heads to the locker room after taking a tough hit. The second quarter opens with Karl Anthony Towns spinning into the paint for a smooth bucket. Then Brunson makes his return and instantly changes the vibe. He drops a floater, attacks the lane for another score, and suddenly the Knicks are back in front by 1.
I want to give the Knicks credit. They've been resilient this whole playoffs. Man, for them to come into San Antonio, and man, they come in there into a hostile environment in the finals and beat a great a young San Antonio team. But the Knicks were awesome.
The Spurs answer before halftime, though. Wembanyama finds Champagnie on the wing for a huge 3, and Stephon Castle follows it up with a floater and an athletic reverse putback that sends the crowd into a frenzy, stretching San Antonio's lead to 13 points. But here's the big question. How did the Spurs let that lead slip away? New York comes charging right back. Brunson gets downhill and scores, while Landry Shamet buries a transition 3.
I think we know what we have to do. I think we're a pretty together group. It's just a credit to the mentality we have as a team. But I mean, we can't just be satisfied with that. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of things we can do to be better. But I'm happy we came with the win.
San Antonio still holds a narrow edge after Devin Vassell connects with Wembanyama for a thunderous alley-oop slam. The intensity is through the roof at this point. Then OG Anunoby opens the fourth quarter with a strong driving layup as the battle reaches another level. Vassell crashes the glass and ties the game at 86 with a huge putback. And from that moment on, the pressure reaches a whole different level.
And honestly, I think I'm going to go with the more experienced team. I'm going to go with the New York Knicks to take game 1. I think ultimately when I say the Knicks are going to win, I think the Knicks actually cause more matchup problems for Spurs than the Spurs cause for them.
That's when Jalen Brunson decides it's his time to take over. He races down the floor and scoops in a transition bucket, then somehow banks home a tough layup through traffic to keep New York rolling. San Antonio refuses to back down, though. Victor Wembanyama responds with a deep three-pointer and follows it up with an and-one finish inside, slicing the deficit to just 1 point and sending the crowd into a frenzy. The momentum is swinging everywhere, but Brunson delivers the final blow.
That Brunson kid ain't scared of nobody. He ain't scared of nobody.
Not at all.
They're not going to be able to match up with Karl Anthony Towns in this series, period. Especially if he plays aggressively. Because you saw, I said, man, he going to drag Victor away from the basket. That's not going to change by game 2.
He drills a massive corner three and then spins underneath the basket for another clutch score that helps slam the door shut on the Spurs. What a wild finish. Game 1 of the 2026 NBA Finals wasn't just another playoff game. It was a full-blown spectacle that shattered expectations. The demand to witness this matchup was so extreme that courtside seats reportedly soared to an unbelievable $50,000, making them around 100 times more expensive than when these franchises met in the finals back in 1999.
I will say, I'm upset I didn't shoot better. I was a little rusty, I feel like, but what I do say is I was really proud of the defense I brought out here tonight. So it was always about the defense. The defense was what won us this game because our offense really didn't show up.
Brunson's performance was one for the history books. By dropping 30 points, he became the first New York Knick to score 30 or more in an NBA Finals game since Latrell Sprewell accomplished the feat exactly 27 years earlier. That's elite company and a major moment for Knicks fans everywhere. Now the story gets even more interesting. Beyond the clutch shots and highlight plays, there are records, heated debates, player reactions, media discussions, and plenty of storylines coming out of this game. So stick around because there's a lot to unpack. For the first time in franchise history, the San Antonio Spurs lost a Game 1 in the NBA Finals, ending a remarkable 6-0 streak that had stood for decades. That's a stunning statistic for one of the league's most successful organizations. Still, if anyone thinks this Spurs team is rattled, they may want to think again. Wembanyama looks completely locked in and unfazed by the pressure, the spotlight, or falling behind in the series. The confidence is still there, and San Antonio knows it has plenty of basketball left to play. Before we get into the strong reactions from Shaq and Charles Barkley, let's check out what Iman Shumpert and the legendary ISO Joe Johnson had to this unbelievable matchup. Shumpert has quickly become one of the most respected voices in basketball media during the 2026 playoff run. Instead of chasing attention with wild hot takes, he's built a reputation for giving thoughtful and measured opinions. Jalen Brunson also had a strong statement after the game. But before we dive into more reactions from players and media personalities, let's take a quick look at some of the numbers behind this crazy finals opener. Before we get to the reactions, the stats from Game 1 tell an incredible story. On the surface, it looked like San Antonio had control for long stretches, but the numbers reveal just how quickly everything flipped in New York's favor when the game entered winning time. The biggest difference came from Jalen Brunson's takeover in the second half. Every time the Spurs seemed ready to create separation, Brunson answered with a huge shot, a tough finish, or a smart play that kept the Knicks alive. His leadership showed up when it mattered most, and that's exactly why New York trusted him with the ball in the biggest moments of the season. Victor Wembanyama was also spectacular despite the loss. He impacted the game on both ends of the floor with his scoring, shot blocking, and ability to stretch the defense. Even when New York focused extra attention on him, he still found ways to make plays and keep the Spurs within striking distance. That's the scary part for the rest of the league. This may have been his finals debut, but he looked completely comfortable on the biggest stage. One of the most surprising developments was how physical the matchup became. Every possession felt like a battle. Loose balls turned into scrambles, rebounds became wars in the paint, and neither team gave away anything easily. The intensity looked more like a Game 7 than a Game 1. Meanwhile, social media exploded as soon as the final buzzer sounded. Fans couldn't stop debating Brunson's late-game heroics, Wembanyama's monster performance, and whether San Antonio missed a golden opportunity after holding a double-digit lead. Some were calling Brunson's performance one of the greatest finals openers in Knicks history, while others pointed to Wemby's production and argued that the Spurs still have the best player in the series. Then came the reactions from around the basketball world. Former players, analysts, and media personalities were all weighing in on the thriller. Some praised New York's toughness and ability to stay composed under pressure, while others focused on the Spurs' collapse and questioned how a team with a 13-point advantage let the game slip away. One thing is clear after this instant classic. If Game 1 was this wild, the rest of this final series could be absolutely unforgettable. Game 1 didn't just deliver drama, it produced some of the wildest stat lines we've ever seen on the NBA Finals stage. The numbers coming out of this matchup are almost hard to believe when you look at them closely. Let's start with Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs superstar finished with 26 points, but here's the shocking part. He only made 6 field goals all night. New York's defense made life extremely difficult for him and forced him into a rough 6 for 21 shooting performance. Despite the struggles from the field, Wemby still found ways to pile up points and impact the game, showing why he's already one of the league's most dangerous players. Then there's Josh Hart, whose stat line was just as unusual in a completely different way. Hart scored only 3 points, but his impact went way beyond scoring. He attacked the glass all night, pulling down 15 rebounds while also handing out 6 assists. That's the kind of gritty performance that doesn't always grab headlines but can completely change a game. Right now, drop your prediction for how many points Wembanyama scores in Game 2. After a tough shooting night, all eyes will be on how he responds in the next matchup. Now, let's get into some of the biggest reactions from around the basketball world. Draymond Green is known for his sharp basketball mind and his willingness to break down games from a player's perspective. What's interesting is that he originally picked the Spurs to win the series, but just hours before Game 1 tipped off, he shifted his stance during an episode of The Draymond Green Show and had plenty to say about the matchup. Even after San Antonio's loss, Draymond wasn't ready to panic about the Spurs. In fact, he expressed excitement about watching a generational talent like Wembanyama face true finals adversity for the first time. Draymond made it clear that he expects Wemby to study the film, make major adjustments, and come back with a completely different level of intensity in Game 2. We also have to mention Doc Rivers, the longtime coach and former player who had strong praise for the Knicks after their huge road victory. But now it's time to get to the comments that generated the most attention of the night. In my opinion, the strongest and most critical reaction came from 4-time NBA champion Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq has never been afraid to deliver bold opinions, and this time was no different. Listen to exactly what he said and decide for yourself whether you agree or disagree. Before we move on, here's something worth thinking about. How often do you hear media members and former players saying that Victor Wembanyama's defense was an issue? Almost never. That's how incredibly high the expectations have become for him. When most players have an average defensive night, nobody talks about it. When Wemby has one, it suddenly becomes one of the biggest talking points coming out of the game. That's the reality of being a superstar. The standard is different, and every performance gets put under a microscope. Even in a game where he scored 26 points and made plays on both ends of the floor, the conversation quickly shifted to what he could have done better. That's the kind of spotlight only a few players in the league experience. And somehow, that wasn't even the craziest part of the night. We saw fans trying to grab photos during the action, players battling through injuries, momentum swings that had the crowd losing its mind, and dramatic comebacks that completely changed the game. And remember, this was only Game 1 of the NBA Finals. That's what makes the Finals so special. Every game creates a brand new storyline and changes the conversation overnight. This opener delivered everything fans could have hoped for. Sky-high ticket prices, massive viewership numbers, unforgettable moments, and a thriller that lived up to the hype. For the first time in franchise history, the San Antonio Spurs are facing a 0-1 deficit in the NBA Finals. They were hit with a tough lesson in the fourth quarter as New York's defense tightened up and completely shifted the momentum of the game. The Knicks stayed composed when it mattered most and stole home court advantage in a huge way. But if you think Victor Wembanyama is about to disappear from the spotlight, think again. The young superstar is known for making adjustments, studying opponents, and responding when challenges come his way. Expect San Antonio to come out with a different level of urgency in Game 2 as they look to even the series. Now, the big question is simple. Does Wembanyama bounce back and help the Spurs tie the series, or do the Knicks head to Madison Square Garden with a commanding 2-0 lead? Drop your predictions in the comments. Are you siding with Draymond and picking New York to win it all, or are you riding with San Antonio?